the American elections, it's like they've never ended. I feel like we've been doing American elections for like the last
So
6 years.
with the campaigns being so
Oh,
long and drawn out, and it's
oh,
just
unbelievable.
it's just never ending.
No wonder they're all angry because I'd be angry if I was doing elections constantly my entire life, which is ridiculous. But yeah, so there was obviously the Senate was undecided. The
Mm.
Republicans had 50, the Democrats had 48. So there were these two runoff elections in Georgia, which traditionally, well, historically, recently, for the last couple of decades, has been Republican
Well,
consistent.
I think the last time the Democrats, it's either the Democrats swept it or the Democrats even got one of the senators. Was I believe I'm not sure if this is totally true, but I believe it is Bill Clinton's first election. So that might be 1992 was the last.
Really,
I
they
think
must have only
there
gotten
were,
one. I don't think they've swept it
I
before.
don't think they've yeah, you're right. I think it is the last time they even got one senator there,
Yeah.
1992. So what's that? 28 years ago,
A
29
long,
years ago
long
now.
time ago.
A while.
Anyway, so yeah, so this is obviously, I mean, I suppose obviously Democrats, all right, fine, but this is a good result, I suppose. It means at least for Biden because it means he's got the House, he's got the presidency, and he's got the Senate. Um,
Mhm.
but before we discuss that, I mean, you look at those votes. That's mighty close. And they were also saying that the Republican vote was suppressed because of all the sort of stuff about, well, your vote doesn't matter anyway because it's all corrupt. So that kind of backfired on the Republicans. But even with a suppressed turnout,
That's
they're both within 1%, roughly.
0.5% in the case of Ossoff and Purdue, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, exactly. So it's well, no percent. I can do math.
Oh, that is a percent. Sorry.
30%. Don't
Yeah.
fucking don't play mind games with me. I'm struggling enough how it
Yeah,
is.
sorry, I haven't done maths in a while.
It's like carry the one.
Studied the humanities.
Yeah, exactly. We both did soft sciences. Thank you very much. None of this using our brains. We just
All
like to
this
chat
hard
shit
data stuff.
professionally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you look at that and you go, well, okay,
Mm.
what does that tell you? That tells you actually they probably should have gone to the Republicans in a normal situation. And all these news articles are like, oh, it's the blue surge. It's like the surge of what? You know?
The blue trickle, I
Yeah,
think, is what they should call it. It's definitely
exactly.
not a blue wave. It's definitely
No,
a blue wave.
it's not. It's not. And the danger is that the Democrats now get complacent, which they will, because the moment they get into power, the left fucking falls asleep. This is what happens. It happened to Labour over in the UK. It happens to America. It happens all over the place. The left gets into power and they're like, oh well, we're here now. It's like you're like, well, that's kind of missing an opportunity here, but fine, whatever.
And
Um,
if you really really think about it, um, Donald Trump did a lot better this election than a lot of people thought.
yeah,
But there's no excuses for losing to Trump a second time. So
no,
he should have won that, and it was closer than it should have been because Joe Biden's
yeah,
terrible. They lost seats in the House, so they still got a majority in the House in
yeah,
Congress. But they actually lost seats. How you lose seats under a Trump administration, I just don't know. But it just goes to show that their messaging just didn't land with your average person at all. Especially the coalitions that you have to build to
yeah,
gain power. And then this specific race, that's the executive and the Senate. The story behind those. No, the executive and
the House.
Congress. Yeah, the House. The story behind those. And then this specific race, which tips the balance entirely, to a slight, a tiny majority of like one or two, in the Senate, has got very specific circumstances around it, like Trump saying, your vote doesn't matter. So a lot of people, the whole Republican vote suppression kind of thing. So this is a one-off as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
the executive was close. Congress, you lost seats even though you kept the majority. And then this race is quite unique.
No, you're
So
right.
is
I
it
mean,
not a good
they
showing? No matter,
they've
even though they now control all three, houses of government. But
yeah, they
yeah,
do, but
what are your thoughts?
they scraped over the line because they were projected. I remember because I was watching this. They were projected like a gain of 10 in the Senate and like a gain of 50 in the House, and they went backwards.
the polling is consistently wrong over there.
It's
And
crazy.
I don't get it, you know.
No, I also think the Democrats really thought that because who were they? The problem, their whole strategy was wrong. Their
Mm,
strategy was, oh, there's 100 million non-voters in the US.
mm,
Let's not go after them, and let's go after Republicans. 93% that still voted for Trump.
mm.
Only 7% of Trump voters from 2016 moved
Yeah.
over to Biden. So that strategy is a complete failure.
That tiny percentage of 5 to 7% was your target, you know,
Yeah,
switch voter instead of this gulf,
100 million.
this chasm of
Yeah.
people, you know, 100
Ins-
million, like you
yeah.
said. Yeah,
Instead
we
of
don't
speak,
their vote by giving actual policies that might actually help people, you know, healthcare, etc. You know, during
no,
a pandemic. No, we're gonna go.
we're gonna try and centrist Republican
Mm.
to beat Trump. It's like,
Which is what lost to Trump last, you know.
exactly, but and almost lost again. But Biden is a Republican. You know,
Mm.
people think the Democrats are a left-leaning party. They're not.
They're not in
They're,
any in any meaningful sense. If
no.
they were a party in this country, they'd be the Tory party. So
Well, they'd be to the right of the Tory party.
yeah, yeah,
That's how, and that's the left party in
yeah.
America. Like even even our right wing party isn't as right wing as the Democrats are. So it's absurd. But and that brings me to the sort of the last point on this is people are saying, oh well, Biden's won the Senate now. There's going to be a huge loads of progressive policies. It's going to be excellent. No, there isn't. No, there isn't.
Watch the excuses roll in.
Yeah.
Watch them
No,
come.
there isn't.
It'll
There
be
isn't.
we would love to do progressive policies which would help actually you know, your average person, and will boost us in the polls. But look, we got elections around the corner in the next couple of years. You know, we don't want to risk it by doing anything too non-status quo.
Yeah.
You know, and just honestly, we're going to be sitting here, and we're going to see this happen in front of our eyes. And you know, you hate to, you know, when it comes round, I won't be happy about it. You know, obviously, but I'm just totally resigned to it and expecting
Yeah.
at this point.
And this is the problem. I think it's going to bite them in the arse in 2024 because nothing's going to change. And the issues in America that led to Trump, everyone likes to blame. That's the easy out. Oh, we'll just blame Trump for our problems. He is not the reason stuff is shit in America. He is a symptom of that shit.
Yeah.
Because Obama ignored that shit, Bush ignored that shit, and Clinton caused a lot of that shit. You know, so it's one of those.
And the working man suffered.
Well, exactly.
All those administrations. It was
exactly.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Totally.
You know, and that's the problem. Biden's not going to change any of that. So, and Trump didn't. Trump was voted in.
Biden is Obama. You know, Biden's been in government in various for like the last 40, 50 years or whatever it is. 70 or something, wasn't it? He first ran for president in 80, 80.
It was around the turn of the Iron Age, I think. Like he's been around forever. It's just ridiculous. You know? Like, yeah, he's not a new face. He's not bringing new ideas to the table.
By voting for him, you're voting for many things, but you're not voting for change.